The whip cracked before Scarlet Stone could draw breath. Leather bit into her spine once, twice, 3 times, each strike painting fresh agony across scars that never fully healed. She didn't scream. Not anymore. Alpha Alfred had taught her that screaming only made it last longer. You wolfless parasite. His whiskey-soaked breath burned against her ear as she crumpled to the cold stone floor of the Red Creek packhouse basement. How dare you disobey me? Scarlet's fingers scraped against the floor, trembling, searching for purchase. Blood, warm and slick, pooled beneath her torn dress. The metallic scent filled her nostrils, mixing with the mildew that perpetually clung to these walls. Her walls. Her cage for the last 15 years. Please, she whispered, hating the weakness in her voice. I only tried to help the injured pup in them. His boot connected with her ribs. Something cracked. The world tilted. Help! Alfred's laugh was a serrated blade. You think a slave gets to help anyone? You should consider yourself grateful I let you breathe the same air as real wolves. Through the haze of pain, Scarlet felt it, that strange warmth blooming beneath her shattered rib. The same unexplainable sensation that had kept her alive through beatings that should have killed her a dozen times over. Her body healing itself, knitting bone and tissue back together in ways that defied explanation. In ways that terrified her. Tomorrow, Alfred snarled, yanking her head back by her matted auburn hair, forcing her to meet his bloodshot eyes. Alpha Ryan Hemsworth from Blackvine will be paying us a visit. The most powerful, most brutal alpha in the North. This is my chance, my only chance, to form an alliance that will elevate Red Creek. His grip tightened until Scarlet felt strands of hair rip from her scalp. So, I warn you, you worthless bitch. Serve him well. Smile. Bow. Don't speak unless spoken to. And if you dare ruin this for me. He leaned closer, and Scarlet could see her own reflection in his dilated pupils, broken, bleeding, barely human. I will skin you alive and hang your pelt from the packhouse gates. Do you understand? Yes, Alpha, Scarlet breathed. He released her, and she collapsed like a discarded doll. Get cleaned up. You look like a corpse, and corpses don't serve drinks. Alfred's footsteps echoed as he climbed the basement stairs. And Scarlet? Don't forget what you are. What you'll always be. The door slammed. The lock clicked. Darkness swallowed her whole. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Cindy's Wolfheart Stories. Please hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from right now? Scarlet didn't know how long she lay there on the cold stone, feeling her bones reset themselves with sickening pops and clicks. Minutes? Hours? Time moved differently in the dark. Tomorrow, she thought, pressing a trembling hand to her healed ribs. Alpha Ryan Hemsworth. She'd heard the stories. Everyone had. The Alpha of Blackvine, a territory so vast it stretched from the northern mountains to the silver pine forest. They said he'd killed his first rogue wolf at 14. By 20, he'd conquered 3 rival packs and absorbed them into his own. At 28, he was legend incarnate, 7 feet of lethal muscle, eyes like winter frost, and a reputation for showing zero mercy to anyone who challenged him. They said he could shift faster than thought itself. They said his wolf was black as a moonless night, with fangs that could crush bone like kindling. They said he'd once ripped out a traitor's throat with his bare hands in front of the entire pack council, just to make a point about loyalty. Scarlet shivered despite the lingering warmth of her healing ability. What kind of monster is coming to Red Creek? But even as fear coiled in her stomach, something else whispered beneath it. Something she'd felt in her dreams lately, vivid, impossible dreams of a different time. Of a grand estate covered in ivy. Of a man with silver eyes who looked at her like she was the only star in a dark sky. Of a name that didn't belong to her, yet felt like home, Angelina Theron. And a voice, his voice, calling through the centuries. Find me. Remember me. Save me. Scarlet pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to push the visions away. She was going mad. She had to be. The isolation, the abuse, the loneliness, it was fracturing her mind. You're nobody, she told herself firmly. An abandoned orphan. Wolfless. Powerless. You don't have prophetic dreams or past lives. You're just broken. But deep in her chest, beneath the healed ribs and the scars that crisscrossed her back like a roadmap of suffering, something pulsed. A connection. A thread of fate, glowing gold and inevitable, pulling her toward a future she couldn't see. Pulling her toward him. The next evening arrived too quickly. Scarlet had scrubbed her skin raw in the icy basement washroom, trying to erase the evidence of yesterday's beating. Her dress, the only one she owned that wasn't completely tattered, hung loose on her too-thin frame. Faded gray cotton that had once been white, stitched together from scraps she'd salvaged over the years. She'd braided her long auburn hair to hide the bald patches where Alfred had ripped it out. She'd bitten her lips to give them color. She looked exactly like what she was, a ghost pretending to be alive. Move. One of the pack omegas shoved past her as Scarlet climbed the stairs into the pack house proper. Alpha's guests are arriving any minute, and you're standing there like a useless statue. The main hall had been transformed. Candles flickered in wrought iron chandeliers. Tables groaned under platters of roasted meat, fresh bread, and wine luxury Scarlet had never tasted. Red Creek wolves in their finest clothes milled about, nervous energy crackling through the space. Through the tall windows, Scarlet could see the sun setting over the forest, painting the sky in shades of blood and gold. And then she heard it. The rumble of engines. The crunch of gravel under heavy tires. He's here. Positions. Alpha Alfred barked, straightening his ceremonial jacket. His eyes found Scarlet across the room, and the message in them was clear. Don't fail me. The massive oak doors swung open. Cold air rushed in, carrying the scent of pine and something else, something wild and ancient that made every wolf in the room instinctively lower their gaze. Dominance. Pure, undiluted alpha dominance. Scarlet's breath caught. The man who walked through those doors didn't just enter a room, he conquered it. Ryan Hemsworth stood 6'7", his broad shoulders encased in a black leather jacket that looked like it cost more than the entire Red Creek packhouse. Dark hair fell across his forehead, slightly disheveled, as if he'd just shifted back from wolf form. His face was all sharp angles and brutal beauty, high cheekbones, a strong jaw shadowed with stubble, and a mouth set in a hard line that suggested smiling was a language he'd forgotten. But his eyes. God, his eyes. Silver gray, like moonlight on steel. Cold. Calculating. Ancient in a way that had nothing to do with his age. Eyes that swept across the assembled Red Creek wolves with the disinterest of a predator assessing prey. Until they found her. Scarlet's world tilted. The moment Ryan Hemsworth's gaze locked onto hers, everything else fell away. The noise of the hall faded to silence. The other wolves blurred into shadows. There was only him, those silver eyes widening with something that looked like shock, then recognition, then something far more dangerous. Hunger. His nostrils flared. His entire body went rigid. And Scarlet felt it, a golden thread snapping into place between them, vibrating with an energy that made her knees weak. It wrapped around her ribs, her heart, her soul, and pulled. Mate. No, that was impossible. She didn't have a wolf. She couldn't have a mate bond. But Ryan Hemsworth was crossing the hall now, his long strides eating up the distance between them. The crowd parted like water, wolves stumbling over themselves to get out of his way. Alpha Hemsworth. Alfred rushed forward, arms spread wide in greeting. Welcome to Red Creek. It's an honor. Ryan walked past him as if he didn't exist. His focus was entirely, devastatingly, on Scarlet. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe, could only stand there, trembling as the most powerful alpha in the north stopped inches away from her. Close enough that she could feel the heat radiating off his body. Close enough to see the faint scars on his knuckles. close enough to smell leather and winter frost, and something uniquely, intoxicatingly him. Who hurt you? His voice was gravel and silk, rough with barely controlled rage. Scarlet blinked. I what? Ryan's hand moved slowly, carefully, as if he thought she might bolt, and his fingers ghosted over her cheek. The touch was featherlight, but it sent electricity racing down her spine. Your face, he said softly, and there was murder in those silver eyes. You're covering bruises with powder. Your ribs are freshly healed. Someone has been beating you. How could he possibly? It's nothing, Scarlet whispered, acutely aware of every Red Creek wolf watching them. Of Alfred's face turning purple with fury. I'm clumsy, don't. The single word cracked like a whip. Don't lie to protect them. Ryan's gaze lifted from her face, scanning the room until it found Alfred. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. You, Ryan said, his voice carrying effortlessly across the hall. Alpha of Red Creek. Did you do this to her? Alfred's laugh was strained. My lord, I think there's been a misunderstanding. This girl is just a slave. Did you touch her? The words weren't a question. They were a sentencing. Alfred's face went white. She's worthless. Wolfless. I have every right to discipline my... The sound that ripped from Ryan Hemsworth's throat wasn't human. It was a growl, deep, primal, world-ending, and it resonated through the pack house like an earthquake. Chandeliers rattled. Glasses shattered. Every wolf in the room dropped to their knees, compelled by the sheer force of alpha command. Everyone except Scarlet. She stood frozen as Ryan turned back to her, and the rage in his expression softened into something that looked almost like reverence. You're mine, he said, and it wasn't a claim, it was a vow. My mate. And no one will ever hurt you again. Then he did something that made Scarlet's heart stop. He removed his jacket and draped it over her shoulders, wrapping her in warmth and his scent. The leather was heavy, expensive, still warm from his body. A claiming. A protection. A promise. We're leaving, Ryan announced to the room. To Alfred. To the entire Red Creek pack. Now. You can't, Alfred sputtered, finally finding his voice. We had an agreement. An alliance. Ryan's smile was a blade. Consider it terminated. He offered his hand to Scarlet. She stared at it, at the scarred knuckles, the long fingers, the strength barely leashed beneath tan skin. Every logical thought screamed at her to run. This was insane. This man was a stranger. A dangerous, volatile, terrifying stranger who'd just upended her entire world in the span of 5 minutes. But that golden thread between them sang with rightness. And somewhere in the depths of her fractured memories, a voice whispered, I've been waiting for you. Across 1,000 years. Find me. Scarlet placed her hand in his. Ryan's fingers closed around hers, warm, solid, real, and the world shifted. Behind them, she heard Alfred shouting, heard the pack erupting into chaos. But all Scarlet could focus on was the alpha in front of her, leading her out of her prison and into a future she couldn't begin to imagine. A future that felt like destiny. A future that felt like doom. Because as they stepped into the night, as Ryan helped her into a sleek black SUV with a gentleness that contradicted everything she'd heard about him, Scarlet felt something else stir. Deep in her mind, locked behind walls she didn't know existed, a woman's voice laughed. A voice that sounded like hers, but wasn't. A voice that dripped with malice and hunger and a century of rage. Finally, the pieces are falling into place. Soon, my love. Soon, I'll have you back. And this time, no one will keep us apart. Scarlet shivered. Ryan noticed immediately. Cold? No, she whispered, watching the Red Creek pack house disappear in the rearview mirror. Watching her old life fade into memory. Not cold. Terrified. Because somewhere in the fabric of fate, she could feel it, the countdown had begun. December 2nd was coming. And when it arrived, everything would burn. What has Scarlet Stone just walked into? Who is the mysterious woman whispering in her mind? And can the brutal alpha Ryan Hemsworth truly protect her, or is he the key to her destruction? The drive to Blackvine territory took 3 hours, but Scarlett couldn't have told you if it was 3 minutes or 3 days. She sat in the passenger seat of Ryan's SUV, wrapped in his leather jacket that smelled like cedar and wild places, watching the forest blur past in shadows and moonlight. Behind them, 2 more vehicles followed, guards, she assumed. Protection for the most powerful alpha in the north. Ryan hadn't spoken since they left Red Creek. His hands gripped the steering wheel with controlled precision, jaw tight, a muscle ticking in his cheek. Every few minutes, his gaze would flick to her, checking, assessing, as if making sure she was still real. The mate bond hummed between them, that golden thread pulling tighter with every mile. Scarlett should have been terrified. She was terrified. But beneath the fear was something else. Something that felt dangerously like hope. "You don't have to be afraid of me," Ryan said suddenly, his voice cutting through the silence. "I know what you've heard. The stories. Most of them are true." He glanced at her and those silver eyes softened. "But I will never hurt you, Scarlett. Never." Her name on his lips sent shivers down her spine. "How do you know my name?" "Alfred said it. When you were on the floor." Ryan's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. "I heard him call you Scarlet Stone before he stopped, breathing hard through his nose. I'm going to kill him. Not today, but soon. For what he did to you." "No." The word escaped before Scarlett could stop it. "Please. I don't want more violence because of me." Ryan pulled the SUV to the side of the road so abruptly that gravel sprayed. The vehicles behind them stopped as well. He turned to face her fully, and the intensity in his expression stole her breath. "Listen to me very carefully," he said, his voice rough. "You are my mate. Do you understand what that means? It means your pain is my pain. Your suffering is unforgivable. What Alfred did to you, what he's been doing to you for years based on those scars, that debt will be paid in blood." "I don't even know you," Scarlett whispered. "I know." Ryan's hand moved slowly, telegraphing his intention, before his fingers brushed her cheek. The touch was impossibly gentle for such a dangerous man. "But you feel this, don't you? This pull between us." "I've been alive for 30 years, and I've never felt anything like it." She did feel it. God help her, she felt it like a second heartbeat. "I don't have a wolf," Scarlett said, the confession tasting like failure. "I'm wolfless. How can I possibly be your mate?" Ryan's thumb traced her jaw. "I don't care if you have a wolf or not. The bond doesn't lie. You're mine. And I." He paused, something vulnerable flickering across his features. "I've been waiting for you without even knowing it." Before Scarlett could respond, his phone buzzed. Ryan answered it with obvious reluctance. "What?" A woman's voice crackled through the speaker, warm, excited, completely at odds with Ryan's intensity. Did you really just steal a girl from Red Creek? Marcus is losing his mind. He says you basically declared war on Alfred, and oh my God, is she with you right now? Is she pretty? Can I meet her?" Despite everything, Scarlett felt her lips twitch. Ryan sighed. "Camille, I'm driving." "Liar, I can hear you're stopped. Come on, put her on. I want to talk to my future sister. We'll be home in 90 minutes. You can interrogate her then." But there was affection in Ryan's voice, a softness that transformed his entire face. "And yes, she's beautiful. Now get off my phone. I'm making cookies. The good ones with chocolate chips. Welcome to the family, mystery girl." The line went dead. Ryan shook his head, but Scarlett caught the ghost of a smile. "That's my sister, Camille. She's enthusiastic and overwhelming, and doesn't understand the concept of boundaries. But she means well." "You have a sister," Scarlett said, trying to imagine this brutal alpha with family, with normal relationships. "Half-sister, technically. Same father, different mothers. She's 24, runs the PAC's community outreach program, and will probably try to adopt you within 5 minutes of meeting you." Ryan's expression grew serious again. Blackvine isn't like Red Creek, Scarlet. We're a family. Dysfunctional sometimes, yes. But we protect our own. And you're ours now. Ours. The word wrapped around Scarlet's battered heart like a blanket. I don't know how to be part of a family, she admitted. I've been alone since I was a child. I don't even know where I came from. Someone left me at the Red Creek gates 15 years ago with nothing but the clothes on my back. Ryan's jaw tightened again. Then we'll find out together. But first, you need medical attention. I'm fine. I heal. Scarlet stopped, realizing what she'd almost revealed. You heal, Ryan finished softly. Faster than normal. I noticed. When I first saw you, I could smell fresh blood. But by the time we got to the car, your wounds had already started closing. His eyes searched hers. That's rare, Scarlet. Incredibly rare. There have only been 5 documented werewolves in history with natural healing abilities. But I'm not a werewolf. Aren't you? Ryan started the SUV again, pulling back onto the road. Just because you can't shift doesn't mean you're human. Your healing suggests powerful bloodlines. Noble bloodlines. Scarlet's head spun. That's impossible. I'm nobody. An orphan. You're mine, Ryan interrupted firmly. And we're going to figure out exactly who you are. Starting with my pack doctor, Harrison. He's studied wolf genetics and supernatural abilities for 40 years. If anyone can explain your healing gift, it's him. They drove in silence for a while, Scarlet processing everything. Noble bloodlines. Healing abilities. A mate bond that shouldn't exist. And those dreams. Those impossible dreams of another life. Ryan? She tested his name on her tongue, and the way his entire body responded, a shiver, a sharp intake of breath, didn't escape her notice. Do you believe in past lives? His hands tightened on the wheel. Why do you ask? I have dreams sometimes. Of places I've never been. A big house covered in ivy. A woman named Angelina. And a man who... She trailed off, suddenly afraid to continue. Who what? Ryan's voice had gone very quiet. Who looks like you? Exactly like you. But it's not you. It's someone else. Someone from a long time ago. Scarlet risked a glance at him. I know it sounds crazy. Ryan was silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice carried a weight that made her chest tight. I have dreams too. Of a woman I loved and lost. Of a curse. Of a date that keeps repeating in my mind, December 2nd. Scarlet's blood turned to ice. December 2nd? You know it? I don't know. But when you said it, something inside me screamed. She pressed a hand to her chest, where her heart hammered against her ribs. Like a warning. Like something terrible is coming. Ryan reached over and took her hand, lacing their fingers together. His palm was warm, calloused, strong. Then we face it together. Whatever's coming, Scarlet, you're not alone anymore. The golden thread between them pulsed with agreement. 15 minutes later, they crossed into Blackvine territory, and Scarlet's breath caught. She'd expected something similar to Red Creek, a run-down pack house, tired buildings, wolves barely scraping by. Instead, she saw a thriving community. Modern houses lined well-maintained streets. Streetlights illuminated parks and shops. In the distance, a massive estate sprawled across a hillside, all stone and glass and elegant architecture. Welcome home, Ryan said softly. Home. Scarlet had never had a home. The SUV pulled up to the estate's main entrance, where a crowd had already gathered. News traveled fast, apparently. Scarlet's anxiety spiked. There are so many people. They're curious. It's not every day their alpha finds his mate. Ryan squeezed her hand. But if it's too much, I can take you in through the back entrance. You don't have to meet everyone tonight. The kindness in his offer nearly undid her. This man, this brutal, terrifying alpha, was giving her a choice. Considering her comfort. I can do this, Scarlet said, trying to sound braver than she felt. Ryan's smile was proud. That's my girl. He came around to her side and opened the door, offering his hand. When Scarlet stepped out, wrapped in his jacket, the crowd's murmurs intensified. A young woman broke through the ranks, petite, blonde, vibrating with excitement. Camille. Oh my God, you're real. She launched herself at Scarlet, who flinched instinctively. Ryan caught his sister before she could make contact. Camille. Personal space. Right, sorry, Camille bounced on her toes, her blue eyes sparkling. I'm so happy to meet you. I'm Camille Eastwood, Ryan's much cooler and significantly less broody sister. Welcome to Blackvine. We're going to be best friends, I can already tell. Despite her nerves, Scarlet found herself smiling. Scarlet Stone. Beautiful name for a beautiful girl. Come on, I'll show you to your room. It's right across from Ryan's, super convenient for late-night mate bonding, if you know what I mean. Camille waggled her eyebrows. Camille, Ryan warned. What? I'm just saying. A tall man with dark skin and kind eyes stepped forward, cutting off what was sure to be an embarrassing tangent. Forgive her, Luna. She hasn't learned the concept of a filter yet. He extended his hand to Scarlet. I'm Marcus Powell, Beta of Blackvine. It's an honor. Luna. They were calling her Luna. Scarlet shook his hand numbly. I'm not. I haven't. We just met. The bond doesn't lie, Marcus said simply, echoing Ryan's earlier words. Welcome to the pack. More introductions followed, wolves whose names Scarlet knew she'd never remember. But they were all kind. Genuinely happy. Looking at her like she was something precious rather than worthless. It was overwhelming. It was terrifying. It was everything she'd never dared to hope for. Ryan stayed close, his hand at the small of her back, a constant reassurance. When Scarlet swayed slightly, exhaustion finally catching up to her, he noticed immediately. That's enough for tonight, he announced to the crowd. Give her space. She's been through hell. The crowd dispersed without argument, and Scarlet realized the extent of Ryan's power. When he spoke, people listened. Come on, he said gently. Let's get you settled. Harrison can examine you in the morning. He led her through the estate, all polished wood and expensive art and windows that overlooked the forest. Up a grand staircase. Down a hallway lit by soft sconces. He stopped at a door and opened it, revealing a bedroom that was bigger than the entire basement she'd lived in for 15 years. A massive bed with soft white linens. A fireplace. Bookshelves. Windows with gauzy curtains. Furniture that looked like it belonged in a magazine. This is yours, Ryan said. My room is across the hall if you need anything. Anything at all, even if it's just company because you can't sleep. Scarlet stepped inside, feeling like she'd fallen into a dream. Ryan, I thank you. For everything. I don't know how to. You don't have to thank me. He cupped her face in both hands, and the tenderness in his touch made her throat tight. You're safe now, Scarlet. I promise you that. Whatever demons are chasing you, past lives, December 2nd, all of it, we'll face them together. He pressed a kiss to her forehead, chaste and sweet, before stepping back. Good night, beautiful girl. Try to rest. When the door closed behind him, Scarlet collapsed on the bed and finally let herself cry. For the first time in her life, she was crying tears of relief. Scarlet woke to screaming. Her own screaming. She bolted upright in the unfamiliar bed, heart hammering, the nightmare still clinging to her consciousness like cobwebs. Not the dreams of the ivy-covered estate or the mysterious Angelina. This was different. Darker. Blood soaking into pristine white snow. A woman's laughter, cruel and familiar. Silver eyes filled with betrayal and agony. And a voice, Orion's voice, choking out words. What have you done? What have you done? The bedroom door slammed open. Ryan stood in the doorway, shirtless, eyes wild with alarm. Behind him, Marcus and Camille crowded into the hallway. Scarlet. Ryan crossed the room in 3 strides, kneeling beside the bed. What's wrong? I heard you scream. She was shaking. Couldn't stop shaking. I saw you. You were dying. There was so much blood, and I couldn't save you. Ryan's hands found hers, grounding her. It was just a nightmare. I'm fine. See? He guided her palm to his chest, where his heart beat steady and strong beneath warm skin. But the image wouldn't fade. The terror wouldn't release its grip. It felt so real, Scarlet whispered. Like a memory instead of a dream. Something flickered in Ryan's expression. Recognition. Fear. I'll stay with you, he said quietly. Just until you fall back asleep. You don't have to. I want to. Ryan settled on top of the covers beside her, careful to maintain distance, but close enough that she could feel his warmth. Tell me about it. The nightmare. Sometimes talking helps. So Scarlet told him. About the snow and the blood. About the woman's laughter that sounded like her own voice but wrong, twisted. About the overwhelming sense that something terrible was coming. Ryan listened in silence, his jaw growing tighter with every word. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then, December 2nd is 3 weeks away. What happens on December 2nd? I don't know, Ryan admitted. But I've been having episodes. Blackouts. I'll lose time, and when I come to, there's destruction around me. Broken furniture. Claw marks on walls. Once, I woke up in the forest 10 miles from home, covered in blood that wasn't mine. Scarlet's breath caught. What does your doctor say? That there's something inside me. Something old and angry that's getting stronger. Ryan's eyes met hers, and the vulnerability there cracked something in her chest. I'm afraid, Scarlet. I'm afraid I'll hurt you during one of these episodes. That's why I gave you the room across the hall instead of asking you to stay with me. I don't trust myself. Without thinking, Scarlet reached up and touched his face. Ryan leaned into her palm like a man starved for gentle contact. You won't hurt me, she said with certainty she didn't understand. You can't know that. I do. And somehow she did. The same way she knew her own name. The same way the bond hummed approval between them. Ryan caught her wrist, turning his head to press a kiss to her palm. The gesture was so tender, so at odds with his fearsome reputation, that Scarlet's eyes burned. Sleep, he murmured. I'll watch over you. Will you tell me about yourself? Your voice helps. It makes me feel safe. So Ryan talked. About growing up as the heir to Blackvine. About his father, who died 5 years ago in a rogue attack. About the weight of leadership and the loneliness of power. About Camille, who'd been a light in the darkness after their father's death. His voice was deep and soothing, and Scarlet felt herself drifting. Ryan, she mumbled, half asleep. I'm glad I met you. Even if I'm terrified of what comes next. His hand found hers in the darkness. Me too, beautiful girl. Me too. Morning brought Dr. Harrison Chin, a silver-haired man with intelligent eyes and a gentle demeanor that immediately put Scarlet at ease. He examined her in Ryan's study, while the alpha paced like a caged wolf, radiating protective tension. Remarkable, Harrison murmured, studying the completely healed skin on Scarlet's back, where Alfred's whip had torn flesh just yesterday. No scarring at all from the fresh wounds. The older scars suggest repeated trauma over years, but even those are fading. He looked up at her. Scarlet, have you always healed this quickly? I think so. I never thought much about it. I just knew I could survive things that should have killed me. Harrison exchanged a meaningful look with Ryan. With your permission, I'd like to run some tests. Blood work, genetic screening. Your healing ability is extraordinarily rare. It suggests noble bloodlines, possibly even royal heritage. Royal? Scarlet laughed, the sound brittle. I'm an orphan. I was abandoned. Perhaps, Harrison said carefully. Or perhaps you were hidden. Protected. There are stories in wolf history of powerful children being secreted away during times of war or upheaval. What kind of war? Scarlet asked. The witch wars, primarily. A century ago, Werewolves and witches were locked in brutal conflict. Many powerful bloodlines were decimated. Harrison began packing up his medical bag. I'll need to consult some historical records. But Scarlet, I want you to be prepared. Your heritage may be more complicated than you realize. After Harrison left, Scarlet wandered to the study windows overlooking the estate grounds. Ryan joined her, standing close enough that their shoulders brushed. Do you ever wish things were simpler? She asked. That you were just normal? Every day, Ryan admitted. But then I wouldn't have found you. Scarlet turned to face him, and the intensity in his silver eyes stole her breath. You barely know me. I know enough. His hand came up to cup her jaw. I know you're strong. Brave. You survived 15 years of hell and didn't let it break you. I know when you smile, my entire world gets brighter. I know. A knock interrupted them. Marcus entered, his expression grim. Alpha, we have a situation. Ryan's entire demeanor shifted, becoming the lethal leader everyone feared. What kind of situation? A messenger from Red Creek. Alpha Alfred is demanding Scarlet's return. He's claiming you stole his property and threatening to petition the Council of Alphas for recompense. The temperature in the room plummeted. Property, Ryan said, his voice deadly quiet. He's posturing, Marcus said quickly. Testing boundaries. The Council won't side with him, not when they learn you claimed Scarlet as your mate. But he's making noise, stirring up the other packs. Let him try. Ryan's hand found Scarlet's, lacing their fingers together. She's under my protection now. Mine. Anyone who challenges that can meet me in the combat circle. Ryan, I don't want to cause problems for your pack, Scarlet said. He turned to her, and the ferocity in his expression made her knees weak. You are my mate. There is no problem more important than your safety and happiness. Alfred can petition every council from here to the coast. It won't change the fact that you belong to me now. By mate bond. By pack law. By every law that matters. The messenger is waiting for a response, Marcus said. Tell Alfred if he wants to discuss Scarlet's status. He can come to Blackvine himself and face me directly. Otherwise, he can go to hell. Ryan's jaw set. And Marcus? Double the perimeter guards. If Red Creek tries anything, I want to know immediately. Yes, Alpha. When they were alone again, Scarlet touched Ryan's arm. You'd really go to war over me? In a heartbeat, Ryan said simply. You still don't understand, do you? You're not just some girl I rescued. You're my mate. The other half of my soul. I would burn the entire world to ash before I let anyone take you from me. The golden bond between them flared, and Scarlet felt the truth of his words resonating in her bones. I wish I understood this, she whispered. This pull between us. Why it's so strong when we just met. Maybe we didn't just meet. Ryan's thumb traced circles on the back of her hand. You dream of past lives. I have memories that don't belong to me. What if we've known each other before? Loved each other before? That's impossible. Is it? He stepped closer, and Scarlet's back hit the window. Is anything impossible in our world? We're werewolves, Scarlet. We shift into giant wolves under the full moon. We have mates chosen by fate. Why couldn't souls find each other across lifetimes? Scarlet's heart hammered. If that's true, what happened to us before? Why were we separated? I don't know, Ryan admitted. But I know I'm not losing you again. Whatever it takes. Whatever I have to fight, past, present, or future, you're mine, Scarlet Stone. And I protect what's mine. Then he kissed her. It wasn't gentle or tentative. It was claiming and desperate and full of a hunger that had been building for longer than either of them understood. His hands cupped her face, angling her head as his mouth moved over hers with devastating skill. Scarlet gasped, and Ryan deepened the kiss, swallowing the sound. Heat exploded through her body. The mate bond sang. Every nerve ending came alive. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ryan rested his forehead against hers. Mine, he whispered again. Yours, Scarlet agreed, and it felt like a vow. A vow that would be tested sooner than either of them knew. Because in the shadows of the Blackvine Forest, a woman watched the estate with ancient, hungry eyes. A woman who wore Scarlet's face, but carried a darkness that had been festering for a century. Morgana smiled. "Soon, my love," she whispered to the wind. "December 2nd is coming. And when I'm free, you'll remember who you really belong to." The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of strange normalcy. Scarlet was fitted for new clothes by a patient seamstress who didn't flinch at the scars on her back. Camille appointed herself as Scarlet's personal guide, dragging her through Blackvine's shops and cafes, introducing her to pack members who treated her with genuine warmth. Harrison ran his tests and disappeared into his research, muttering about bloodlines and ancient prophecies. And Ryan was everywhere. He taught her to ride the horses in Blackvine's stables, his hands steadying her waist as she learned to post. He cooked her breakfast, badly, burning the eggs, but the gesture made her heart ache. He sat with her in the library while she discovered a love for mystery novels, content to work on pack business while she read nearby. The mate bond grew stronger every day, that golden thread weaving them together until Scarlet couldn't imagine life without him. But beneath the happiness, danger lurked. Ryan's blackouts were getting worse. Scarlet woke one night to the sound of breaking glass. She ran across the hall to find Ryan's room destroyed, furniture shattered, claw marks gouging the walls, the smell of blood thick in the air. Ryan stood in the center of the chaos, naked and shaking, his eyes wild and unfocused. "Ryan?" Scarlet approached carefully. "Can you hear me?" His head snapped toward her, and for a terrifying moment, she didn't recognize the thing looking out through his eyes. Something ancient. Something other. Then Ryan blinked and awareness returned. "Scarlet, get back. I can't control. I'm not leaving you." She moved closer despite the warning growl rumbling in his chest. "Come back to me. Fight it." "It's getting stronger," Ryan gritted out, his hands clenching into fists. "Whatever's inside me, it wants out. It wants," he stopped, horror flooding his expression. "It wants to hurt you." "God, Scarlet, it's showing me visions of hurting you, and part of me is enjoying it." "That's not you. That's the thing possessing you." "How do you know?" His voice broke. "How do you know I'm not just a monster?" Scarlet closed the distance between them and took his face in her hands, forcing him to meet her eyes. "Because I've met monsters. I lived with one for 15 years. And you, Ryan Hemsworth, are not a monster. You're the man who rescued me, who gave me a home, who makes me feel safe for the first time in my life." Ryan's hands came up to cover hers, his grip almost painful. "I'm afraid I'm going to kill you." "You won't. You can't know that." "Yes, I can." Scarlet pressed closer until they were chest to chest, heartbeat to heartbeat. "Because whatever's inside you, it's not stronger than this. Than us." She kissed him, pouring every ounce of faith and feeling into it. For a moment, Ryan stood rigid. Then he groaned and kissed her back with desperation, his arms banding around her waist, lifting her off her feet. When they broke apart, his eyes were clear. "Fully him." "Thank you," he breathed against her lips. "Always," Scarlet promised. The next morning, Harrison called an emergency meeting. Scarlet, Ryan, Marcus, and Camille gathered in the study, while the doctor laid out yellowed documents and old photographs on the desk. "I found something," Harrison said grimly. "Something that explains a great deal." He placed a photograph in front of them, black and white, faded with age. It showed a grand estate covered in ivy. And standing in front of it, a couple. A man who looked exactly like Ryan, and a woman who could have been Scarlet's twin. "This is Brunston Manor," Harrison explained. "It stood about 30 miles from here, over a century ago. The man is Joseph Brunston, a wealthy landowner. And the woman." He paused. "The woman is Morgana Theron, a she-wolf with extraordinary powers." Scarlet's blood turned to ice. "Theron? But that's—" "Your surname in the dreams," Ryan finished, staring at the photograph. Angelina Theron. Joseph and Morgana were lovers, Harrison continued. But their relationship was forbidden. Joseph was human. Morgana was a werewolf with witch blood. Their affair caused a scandal. And then something went terribly wrong. He laid out another document, a newspaper clipping dated December 2nd, 1923. Tragedy at Brunston Manor, entire household slaughtered. Scarlett's hands shook as she read the article. 20 people dead. Torn apart by what witnesses described as a demon wolf. And at the center of it all, Morgana Theron, who'd apparently gone mad and murdered everyone, including Joseph. That's not what happened. The words left Scarlett's mouth before she could stop them. Everyone turned to stare at her. How do you know? Marcus asked carefully. I don't know. But reading this, it feels wrong. Like history got it twisted. Scarlett looked at Ryan. You said you have memories that don't belong to you. What do you remember about December 2nd, 1923? Ryan's face had gone pale. Betrayal. A woman I loved turning on me. Witches chanting. A curse being sealed. His eyes met hers. And you. I remember you. Begging me not to leave you. Promising you'd find me again. This is reincarnation, Camille breathed. You two are reincarnated souls. Ryan, you're Joseph. And Scarlett, you're... No. Harrison's voice cut through the speculation. That's what I initially thought as well. But the blood tests revealed something else. He turned to Scarlett. You're not Morgana Theron reincarnated. You're something far more unusual. You're a soul fragment. A piece of Morgana that split off, possibly during the sealing of whatever curse destroyed Brunston Manor. The room spun. What does that mean? It means part of you is Morgana, her healing abilities, her connection to Joseph's bloodline, her memories. But you're also your own person. A separate consciousness born from her soul. Harrison's expression was grave. And if I'm right, the main part of Morgana, the part that went mad, that was sealed away, is still out there. Waiting. For what? Ryan demanded. For December 2nd, 2024. Exactly 101 years after the original curse. Harrison pulled out one final document, a witch's grimoire, the text written in symbols that hurt to look at. Most sealing spells last for 100 years. After that, they begin to weaken. And if the seal breaks, Morgana comes back, Scarlett finished, horror dawning. The full version. The one who slaughtered 20 people. And she'll want what she lost, Marcus said quietly. Joseph. Or rather, his reincarnation. All eyes turned to Ryan. That's what's possessing you, Scarlett realized. It's not an evil spirit. It's her. Morgana. She's been reaching through the weakening seal, trying to claim you. Ryan's jaw clenched. Then we kill her before December 2nd. You can't kill what's already dead and sealed, Harrison said. But there might be another way. Scarlett, as a soul fragment, you might be able to absorb Morgana. Take her power, her memories, but maintain your own consciousness. Absolutely not, Ryan growled. That's too dangerous. It might be our only option, Marcus argued. If Morgana breaks free fully, she'll destroy everything in her path to get to you, Ryan. Blackvine, Red Creek, every pack in the territory. She won't stop until she has you. There has to be another way. We have 2 weeks to find one, Harrison said. I'll keep researching. But Scarlett needs to prepare. Learn to access Morgana's memories. Understand what we're up against. The meeting dispersed, but Scarlett felt Ryan's tension like a physical weight. I won't let you sacrifice yourself, he said once they were alone. And I won't let that thing have you, Scarlett countered. Ryan, if I'm part of Morgana, maybe I can reason with her. Make her understand. She's insane. She killed 20 people in a jealous rage. You can't reason with that. Then what do we do? Ryan pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. We fight. Together. Like we should have done 100 years ago. Scarlett buried her face in his chest, breathing in his scent, cedar and safety and home. Outside, thunder rumbled. December 2nd was 13 days away. And in the darkest part of the forest, Morgana's laughter echoed through the trees. Soon, my love. Soon. The nightmares came every night now. Scarlet would close her eyes and find herself thrust into memories that weren't hers, walking through Brunston Manor in a body that moved differently, seeing through eyes that held a darkness she didn't recognize. Morgana's eyes. She saw Joseph, Ryan's past self, young and handsome and desperately in love. Saw stolen moments in the garden, passionate kisses behind closed doors, promises whispered under starlight. But she also saw the jealousy, the rage, the way Morgana's love had twisted into something poisonous and consuming. If I can't have you, no one will. Scarlet woke gasping, Ryan's name on her lips. It was 3 a.m. 9 days until December 2nd. She couldn't stay in bed. Couldn't lie there with Morgana's memories crawling under her skin. Scarlet pulled on a robe and slipped into the hallway, intending to go to the library. Instead, she found herself drawn to Ryan's room. The door was ajar. Inside, she could hear him thrashing, muttering in his sleep. She pushed it open. Ryan lay tangled in sheets, his muscled chest slick with sweat, his face contorted in anguish. No, he groaned. Angelina, please. Don't do this. Don't. Angelina. Not Scarlet. Not Morgana. A third name. A third piece of this impossible puzzle. Scarlet crossed to the bed and touched his shoulder. Ryan, wake up. His eyes snapped open, but they weren't silver. They were golden, glowing with an otherworldly light. Before Scarlet could react, Ryan's hand shot out and grabbed her wrist with bruising force. He moved with inhuman speed, flipping her onto the bed and pinning her beneath him. You left me, he snarled, but the voice wasn't entirely his. It was layered, echoing with the past. You promised forever, and you left me to die. Ryan, it's me. It's Scarlet. Liar. His hand wrapped around her throat, not squeezing, but the threat was clear. You wear her face, but you're not her. You're the one who betrayed me. Who chose him over me. Scarlet's heart hammered. This wasn't Ryan. This was Joseph, bleeding through. Or something even older. I don't know what happened, she gasped. But I'm here now. I came back. Just like I promised. The golden light in Ryan's eyes flickered. For a moment, she saw confusion. Pain. Angelina. His voice cracked, becoming more human. Is it really you? I don't know who I am anymore, Scarlet admitted, tears streaming down her face. But I know I love you. Across every lifetime. That has to mean something. Ryan's grip on her throat loosened. His hand moved to cup her face instead, thumb wiping away her tears with a gentleness that contradicted the violence of seconds ago. I'm sorry, he breathed, and he was fully Ryan again, silver eyes wide with horror. God, Scarlet, I could have killed you. I had my hand on your throat, and I wanted, he scrambled backward, putting distance between them. You need to leave. Lock your door. Don't come near me again. No. Scarlet sat up, her throat aching, but her resolve firm. I'm not leaving you. I'm not safe. I don't care. The words burst out of her. Do you think I survived 15 years of hell just to give up now? Whatever's happening to us, whatever we were in the past, we face it together. You don't understand what I saw in that dream, Ryan said, his voice raw. I saw you, Angelina. I saw you make a choice that destroyed everything. You were supposed to break the curse, but you chose someone else. You let me die. The accusation hung between them. I need to show you something, Scarlet said quietly. Harrison taught me how to access Morgana's memories. I've been seeing fragments. And Ryan. I think history got it wrong. I think everyone got it wrong about what happened at Brunston Manor. She extended her hand. Let me show you. Through the mate bond. We can share the memories. Ryan hesitated, fear and longing warring in his expression. Finally, he took her hand. The moment their skin connected, the world dissolved. December 2nd, 1923. Brunston Manor. Scarlet found herself watching through Morgana's eyes, but also somehow separate, an observer in her own ancestor's body. The grand ballroom was decorated for a party. Werewolves and humans mingled, an unusual sight for the time. Joseph stood near the fireplace, handsome in a tailored suit, laughing at something a guest said. But Morgana wasn't watching Joseph. She was watching the woman beside him. Petite, dark-haired, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Angelina Theron, Morgana's younger sister. "You look beautiful tonight," Angelina said, touching Morgana's arm. "Are you feeling well? You've seemed distant lately." "I'm fine," Morgana lied. But she wasn't fine. She was dying. The curse, a witch's curse, born from a vendetta Scarlet didn't fully understand, was eating her from the inside out, turning her into something monstrous. She could feel it in her bones, in her blood. The rage, the hunger, the need to destroy. "Morgana." A woman's voice, smooth as silk. A witch named Celeste appeared from the shadows. "We're running out of time. If you don't let me perform the sealing ritual tonight, you'll transform completely. You'll kill everyone in this manner." "I won't let you seal me away for a century," Morgana hissed. "Then you doom them all." Celeste's eyes were ancient and sad. "There's another way. Your sister, Angelina. She could take your place. Absorb the curse before it fully manifests. She has healing abilities, just like you. She might survive it." "No." Morgana's hands clenched into fists. "I won't sacrifice my sister." "Then you'll murder her. And Joseph. And everyone you love." The memory fast-forwarded. Midnight. The ballroom in chaos. Morgana could feel herself losing control, her body beginning to shift into something that wasn't quite wolf, wasn't quite human. A monster. Joseph grabbed her hands. "Fight it, my love. You're stronger than this curse." "I can't," Morgana sobbed. "Joseph, I can't stop it. You need to run. Everyone needs to. I'm not leaving you." "Then you're going to die." Angelina rushed forward. "Sister, please. Let Celeste perform the ritual. Let me help you. I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me. It's not a sacrifice if I choose it." Angelina's smile was achingly gentle. "You've protected me our whole lives. Let me protect you now." The transformation was accelerating. Morgana could feel her humanity slipping away, replaced by an insatiable hunger for blood and death. "Do it," she told Celeste. "Seal me. But not for a century, forever. I don't want to come back from this. Promise me you'll keep me locked away." "Morgana, no." Joseph tried to intervene, but Angelina held him back. "She's right," Angelina said, tears streaming down her face. "This is the only way to save everyone." Celeste began the ritual. Witches emerged from the shadows, forming a circle, chanting in a language older than memory. Morgana felt her soul being ripped apart. No, not ripped. Separated. Celeste was splitting her soul, taking the cursed, monstrous part and sealing it away, leaving behind only a fragment, a piece of Morgana's consciousness, her healing abilities, her memories. That fragment flowed into Angelina. Morgana's body collapsed, empty, dead. But as the sealing completed, as the monster was locked away in a prison of magic and time, Scarlet felt something else. The curse wasn't destroyed, just delayed. And it was furious. "I'll come back," the cursed part of Morgana screamed as it was sealed. 101 years. When the magic weakens, I'll come back and take what's mine. Joseph will be mine. Forever. The memory shattered. Scarlet gasped, finding herself back in Ryan's bedroom, still holding his hand. Ryan's face was pale. Angelina. She wasn't the villain. She was the hero. "And I'm her," Scarlet whispered. "Or a part of her." When Angelina absorbed Morgana's soul fragment, it stayed in our bloodline, passed down through generations until... She looked down at herself. "Until me." But the record said everyone died that night. The newspaper was covering up the truth. Scarlet pieced it together. They couldn't let humans know about werewolves and witches and curses. So they blamed Morgana, said she went mad and killed everyone. But really, Celeste and the witches probably helped the survivors escape. Started new lives far from Brunston Manor. And Joseph, Ryan's voice was barely a whisper, died that night. The curse, it was meant for both of them, Morgana and Joseph. When she was sealed, the curse had nowhere to go but him. Scarlet squeezed his hand. But his soul, Ryan, your soul survived. Reincarnated. Waited. Just like Angelina's did. We found each other again. Yes. And in 9 days, the seal breaks. Morgana comes back. Ryan stood abruptly, pacing. She'll try to claim me. Force me to be with her. She'll destroy anyone in her way, Scarlet agreed. Including me. Ryan spun to face her, and the intensity in his expression stole her breath. I won't let that happen. I don't care what I was in a past life. I don't care if Joseph loved Morgana. I love you, Scarlet. Not her. You. Ryan. He crossed the distance between them in 2 strides, cupping her face in his hands. You are everything to me. In this life, in every life. And I will fight heaven and hell to keep you safe. Then he kissed her with a desperation that made her bones melt. This wasn't the gentle, exploratory kisses they'd shared before. This was claiming and promising and need. Ryan's hands tangled in her hair, angling her head as his mouth devoured hers. Scarlet's fingers dug into his shoulders, pulling him closer, needing to feel every inch of him pressed against her. The mate bond exploded with golden light. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ryan rested his forehead against hers. Mark me, Scarlet whispered. Ryan went very still. What? Mark me. Make me your Luna officially. If the bond is complete, maybe it'll protect me from Morgana. Maybe it'll prove to her that you're mine, not hers. Scarlet, a marking is permanent. I know what it is. She pulled back to look him in the eyes. I want it. I want you. Forever. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Ryan's eyes flashed golden for a moment, not possession, but his wolf rising. This will hurt. I don't care. He lowered his mouth to her throat, to the spot where her neck met her shoulder. Scarlet felt his teeth elongate, felt the prick of fangs against her skin. Then he bit down. Pain and pleasure exploded through her in equal measure. The mate bond flared brilliant gold, wrapping around them both, sealing their souls together in a way that transcended time and death and curses. Scarlet cried out, but it wasn't from pain. It was from the overwhelming rightness of it. The completion. When Ryan pulled back, his teeth were stained with her blood. The mark on her throat glowed softly before fading to a beautiful silvered scar, his claim for all to see. Mine, he breathed. Yours, Scarlet agreed. But even as they held each other, even as the mate bond sang between them, Scarlet felt something shift. In the forest. In the darkness. Morgana had felt the marking. And she was enraged. A howl split the night in human, agonized, promising violence. She's coming, Scarlet whispered. Ryan's arms tightened around her. Let her come. We'll face her together. But they both knew the truth. December 2nd was 9 days away. And Morgana wasn't going to wait that long anymore. The attack came at dawn. Scarlet woke to the sound of screaming and the acrid smell of smoke. She bolted upright in Ryan's bed. She'd fallen asleep in his arms after the marking, to find him already pulling on clothes, his face grim. What's happening? Perimeter breach. Multiple hostiles. Ryan tossed her a shirt. Get dressed. Stay close to me. They raced downstairs to find the estate in chaos. Pack members ran in all directions. Through the windows, Scarlet could see fires burning in the forest. And shambling toward the estate were things. Not wolves. Not quite human. Twisted creatures with matted fur and too many teeth, their eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. What are those? Scarlet breathed. The dead, Marcus said, appearing at their side with a rifle. She's raising corpses. Every wolf buried in these woods for the last century, Morgana's animating them. That's impossible, Ryan snarled. She's still sealed. She shouldn't have this kind of power yet. The marking, Camille said, running up with Harrison. When you marked Scarlet, it must have weakened the seal. Morgana felt her soul fragment being claimed by someone else, and she's lashing out. Guilt crashed through Scarlet. This is my fault. No. Ryan grabbed her shoulders. This is her fault. Morgana's insanity, her refusal to let go, that's what's causing this. An explosion rocked the estate. Windows shattered. They're breaching the north wall, someone shouted. Marcus, take a team and reinforce it, Ryan ordered, slipping into alpha mode with terrifying ease. Camille, get the children and elderly to the safe room. Harrison, I'll try to create a barrier. Slow them down. The doctor was already pulling supplies from his bag, salt, herbs, items that hummed with magic. What do I do? Scarlet asked. Ryan's jaw tightened. You stay alive. That's all I need you to do. He kissed her hard and fast, then shifted. One moment, he was human. The next, a massive black wolf stood in his place, 7 feet at the shoulder, with silver eyes that glowed with alpha power. He let out a howl that shook the foundations, rallying his pack. Then he charged into the fray. Scarlet watched through the broken windows as Ryan tore into the animated corpses with savage efficiency. His pack fought beside him, wolves of every size and color, defending their territory with fierce loyalty. But there were so many enemies. Too many. Scarlet. A soft voice behind her. She spun to find a woman standing in the hallway. Petite, dark-haired, with Scarlet's own face, but eyes that were ancient and knowing. Angelina. No, not Angelina. The thing wearing her ancestor's face smiled. Hello, little fragment. Did you really think marking him would keep me away? You're not fully free yet, Scarlet said, backing away. The seal still holds. Barely. And in 8 days, it won't matter. Morgana, because that's who this was, Morgana's consciousness projecting through Angelina's memory, tilted her head. You've made this so much more difficult than it needed to be. If you'd just given him to me, I would have let you live. He's not yours to take. He was mine first. We loved each other for years before Angelina poisoned his mind against me. That's not what happened, Scarlet countered. You were dying. The curse was turning you into a monster. Joseph loved you, but he also saw what you were becoming. Lies. Morgana's form flickered, becoming less solid. The projection was taking effort to maintain. He would have stayed with me if not for her. If not for you. I'm not Angelina. I'm my own person. You're a fragment. A broken piece of what should be whole. Morgana's eyes gleamed with malice. But you're right about one thing, you're not Angelina. You're weaker. Softer. You won't be able to stop me when I come for him. I'll die trying. Yes, Morgana agreed. You will. The projection vanished. Scarlet's legs gave out. She collapsed against the wall, trembling, the mate mark on her throat burning like fire. Outside, the battle raged. By the time the sun fully rose, the attack had been repelled. The animated corpses lay in pieces across the grounds. But the cost was devastating. 12 pack members dead. 23 injured. The north wall destroyed. Fires still smoldering in the forest. And Ryan. Scarlet found him in the courtyard, human again, covered in blood and ash. He was kneeling beside a fallen wolf, a young male who couldn't have been more than 17. Peter, Ryan whispered, closing the boy's vacant eyes. I'm so sorry. I should have protected you better. Scarlet approached slowly. Ryan. 12, he said without looking up. 12 of my pack dead because I marked you. Because I couldn't resist. Don't. Scarlet knelt beside him. Don't you dare blame yourself. Or me. This is Morgana's doing. She's right, though. Ryan finally met her eyes, and the devastation there broke her heart. I'm what she wants. If I surrender myself, she'll stop attacking. The pack will be safe. Absolutely not. Scarlet. No. She grabbed his blood-stained hands. You don't get to martyr yourself. We faced this together, remember? That's what you told me. That was before my pack started dying. Ryan pulled his hands free, standing. I'm the alpha. Their safety is my responsibility. And if my death keeps them safe, then that's the price I pay. Horror flooded through Scarlet. You can't mean that. I do. Ryan's expression was resolute. Marcus. The beta appeared, limping slightly from a wound on his leg. Alpha, I need you to take Scarlet somewhere safe. Far from Blackvine. Somewhere Morgana can't find her. What? Scarlet shot to her feet. Ryan, no. I'm not leaving you. That's not a request. It's an order. Ryan's alpha power rolled out, making several nearby wolves whimper and bare their throats. I won't risk you. I can't, his voice cracked. I can't watch you die, Scarlet. Not again. Not in another life. So you're just going to give up? Let Morgana have you. If that's what it takes to save everyone else, yes. Tears burned Scarlet's eyes. You coward. Ryan flinched as if she'd struck him. You're a coward, Scarlet repeated, her voice shaking with fury and heartbreak. You preach about facing things together, about how strong our bond is. But the moment things get difficult, you're ready to abandon me. Just like Joseph abandoned Morgana. That's not fair. Isn't it? You're doing exactly what he did, choosing the noble sacrifice over fighting for the person you love. And look how well that turned out. A century of pain. A curse that's still destroying lives. Is that what you want to repeat? I want you alive. I want the same for you. Scarlet's tears spilled over. Don't you understand? If you give yourself to Morgana, I don't want to keep living. The mate bond will destroy me. I'll feel you with her, I'll feel your pain, She couldn't finish the sentence. Ryan's resolve wavered. Scarlet. Please, she whispered. Please don't send me away. We can figure this out. Harrison's research, Celeste's grimoire, there has to be another way. There's no time. 8 days. Then we use those 8 days to fight. Together. For a long moment, Ryan said nothing. Then he turned to Marcus. Belay that order. She stays. Relief flooded through Scarlet. But Ryan's next words shattered it. However, you're staying in the safe room until December 2nd. Protected. Guarded. Where Morgana can't reach you. Ryan. That's my final decision. He walked away without looking back, his shoulders rigid with pain and determination. Scarlet tried to follow, but Marcus gently caught her arm. Luna, let him cool down. He's grieving. When he's in his right mind, he's going to do something stupid. Scarlet pulled free. He's going to try to face Morgana alone. Then we stop him, Camille said, appearing at her other side. The younger woman's clothes were torn and bloody, but her eyes were fierce. My brother's an idiot when he's trying to be noble. We just need to knock some sense into him. How? Camille smiled grimly. Leave that to me. In the meantime, you need to talk to Harrison. He was muttering something about Angelina's journal when I passed his study. Angelina kept a journal? Apparently it was in the Brunston Manor artifacts. He only just found the right translation spell. Camille squeezed Scarlet's hand. Go. I'll handle Ryan. Scarlet found Harrison in his study, surrounded by even more books and documents than usual. In the center of his desk lay a leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed with age. Scarlet, thank God. Harrison looked up, his eyes red-rimmed from exhaustion and grief. I found something. Something that changes everything. What? He pushed the journal toward her. Angelina didn't just absorb Morgana's soul fragment. She found a way to purify it, to separate the curse from Morgana's original soul. Scarlet's heart stuttered. What does that mean? It means the creature we're fighting, the thing that's trying to take Ryan, isn't actually Morgana. It's the curse wearing her face. The real Morgana, the woman who loved Joseph, who protected her sister, that part of her is still sealed away. Trapped. So if we break the seal, we could free the real Morgana. And she might be our only hope of defeating the curse. Harrison's expression was grave. But there's a catch. Isn't there always? The ritual to separate them requires a sacrifice. Someone has to act as a conduit, channeling the curse into themselves while Morgana is freed. Scarlet's blood ran cold. And whoever does that dies, Harrison finished softly. Or worse, becomes the new host for the curse. Trapped in the same prison Morgana's been in for a century. So we trade one prison for another. Unless... Harrison flipped to another page. Unless we can find a way to destroy the curse entirely. Angelina was researching it before she died. She believed that if the curse could be drawn into someone with powerful enough healing abilities, someone who could literally burn it out of their system, it might be possible to end this permanently. Their eyes met. Someone like me, Scarlet whispered. You have Angelina's healing gift. Morgana's power. You're the only one who might survive this. Harrison's hands shook as he closed the journal. But I won't lie to you. The chances of success are slim. More likely, you'll die. Or become the new monster. What other choice do we have? We could run. All of us. Abandon Blackvine and scatter. The curse is focused on Ryan if he's constantly moving, never staying in one place. That's not living. That's existing. Scarlet shook her head. And Morgana would find him eventually. Hunt him across years, decades. Destroy everyone in her path. She stood. No. We end this. On December 2nd, we break the seal, free Morgana, and I absorb the curse. Scarlet. It's the only way. Ryan will never agree to this plan. A sad smile touched Scarlet's lips. Then we don't tell him until it's too late. For 3 days, Scarlet pretended. She pretended to accept being confined to the heavily warded safe room. Pretended to agree with Ryan's plan to keep her protected while he handled Morgana. Pretended she wasn't planning to sacrifice herself. The mate mark on her throat ached constantly, the bond pulling her toward Ryan even as he kept his distance. He visited once a day, bringing her food, asking if she needed anything. But he wouldn't touch her. Wouldn't kiss her. As if creating emotional distance would somehow make his planned sacrifice easier. Scarlet wanted to scream at him. Shake him. Make him understand that pushing her away was destroying her more thoroughly than any curse could. But she bit her tongue and waited. Harrison was preparing the ritual. Gathering the necessary components, studying Angelina's notes until he could recite them in his sleep. Camille was keeping Ryan distracted, occupying him with pack business and recovery efforts. And Scarlet was training. At night, when everyone thought she was sleeping, she'd close her eyes and dive into Morgana's memories. Not the cursed, twisted ones, the real ones. From before the darkness took hold. She learned how Morgana had wielded her healing power. How she'd channeled energy, purified toxins, knitted together wounds that should have been fatal. She learned how to fight like a wolf even without shifting. How to move with preternatural speed. How to use her smaller size as an advantage. She learned about love, real love, the kind Morgana had felt for Joseph before the curse poisoned it. Love that sacrificed. Love that protected. Love that endured across 100 years. On the 4th night, December 1st, less than 24 hours before the seal broke, Scarlet felt something shift. She was deep in meditation, practicing drawing energy through the mate bond, when she felt a presence. Not Morgana. Someone else. Brave girl, a woman's voice whispered. Warm. Familiar. You remind me of myself. Scarlet's eyes snapped open, but she was no longer in the safe room. She was standing in a garden, Brunston Manor's garden, lush and beautiful and achingly familiar from the memories. A woman stood before her. Dark-haired, petite, with kind eyes. Angelina, Scarlet breathed. Hello, child. Angelina smiled. I've been watching you. Waiting for the right moment to reach out. You're dead. How? My body is dead, yes. But my soul... Angelina touched Scarlet's chest, right above her heart. My soul has been here the whole time. Waiting in the bloodline. Guiding each daughter who carried a fragment of Morgana's power. You've been inside me? Not controlling. just watching over. Angelina's expression grew sad. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from Alfred. From the suffering you endured. My influence has limits. It's not your fault. Scarlett's throat tightened. Angelina, I need your help. I'm going to try to absorb the curse, but I don't know if I'm strong enough. You are. Angelina's voice was certain. You have my healing gift and Morgana's raw power. But more than that, you have something neither of us had, a completed mate bond with Joseph's soul. Ryan. Yes. The bond is a conduit. A source of infinite energy if you know how to tap it. Angelina took Scarlett's hands. I'm going to show you how. But you must promise me something. Anything. Don't let the curse twist you. I've seen what it does, how it takes love and corrupts it into obsession. How it turns devotion into destruction. Angelina's grip tightened. If you feel yourself slipping, if the darkness starts to win, you must ask Ryan to kill you. Scarlett's stomach dropped. What? Promise me. An alpha's killing bite can sever a mate bond instantly. It would be painful but quick. Better than becoming the monster. Angelina. Promise me. I promise, Scarlett whispered. Angelina's form began to fade. Good. Now pay attention. We don't have much time, and there's a great deal I need to teach you. Scarlett woke to pounding on the safe room door. Scarlett. Ryan's voice, ragged with panic. Open this door right now. She'd fallen asleep during the meditation, apparently. Scarlett scrambled up and unlocked the door. Ryan burst in, his eyes wild. You're planning something. Don't lie to me, I can feel it through the bond. You're planning to do something incredibly stupid and dangerous. Damn it. The mate bond worked both ways. Of course he'd feel her determination, her resolve. Ryan, tell me you're not planning to sacrifice yourself. His hands cupped her face, desperate. Please, Scarlett. Tell me I'm wrong. She couldn't lie to him. Not anymore. It's the only way, she said softly. Ryan's face crumpled. No, I won't allow it. You don't get to make that choice. I'm your alpha. And I'm your mate. Scarlett grabbed his wrists, holding his hands to her face. Equal. Partner. Not someone you get to order around when you're scared. Of course I'm scared. I just found you. After a century of waiting, of searching without knowing what I was searching for, I finally found you. And you want me to watch you die? I don't want to die, Scarlett said, tears streaming. I want to live. I want decades with you. Children. A future. But if I don't do this, we don't get any of that. The curse wins. Morgana, the twisted, broken version, takes you. And I. Her voice broke. I'd rather die trying to save you than live without you. Ryan pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly her ribs creaked. There has to be another way. There isn't. Harrison's checked everything. Every spell, every ritual. This is it. Then I'll do it. I'll be the conduit. You don't have healing abilities. You'd die instantly. Scarlett pulled back to look at him. I have a chance. Small, but it's there. How small? She hesitated. Scarlett. How small? 20%, she admitted. According to Angelina's calculations. Ryan's eyes widened. 80% chance of death, and you're just okay with that? I'm terrified, Scarlett confessed. But I'm more terrified of losing you. You're insane. I'm in love. Ryan let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. That's the same thing. He pressed his forehead to hers. I can't lose you, Scarlett. Not again. Then help me live. Scarlett's hands fisted in his shirt. Stop pushing me away. Stop trying to face this alone. The only chance we have is if we work together. The mate bond, it's our weapon. Our strength. What do you need? Complete the bond. Fully. Ryan's breath caught. You mean? I mean claim me. Every way. Body and soul. Scarlett's cheeks flushed, but her voice was steady. Angelina said the bond is a conduit. The stronger it is, the more power I can channel. And right now, it's incomplete. Scarlett, I won't use you like that. You're not using me. I'm asking. She pulled his mouth down to hers. I'm begging. The kiss was desperate and fierce. Ryan's control shattered. His hands tangled in her hair, his mouth devouring hers with a hunger that had been building for days, for a century. He lifted her, and Scarlet wrapped her legs around his waist. The safe room door slammed shut, wards humming to life, giving them privacy. "Are you sure?" Ryan breathed against her lips. "I've never been more sure of anything." So he claimed her. Thoroughly. Tenderly. With a reverence that made Scarlet weep. And when they came together, truly, completely, the mate bond exploded with golden light. It wrapped around them, through them, binding their souls so tightly that Scarlet couldn't tell where she ended and Ryan began. She felt his love, his fear, his desperate hope. Felt the depth of devotion that transcended lifetimes. And she felt power. Pure, limitless energy flowing through the bond. More than she'd ever imagined. "It's working," she gasped. "Ryan, I can feel it. The bond, it's so strong." "I feel it too." Ryan's arms tightened around her. "God, Scarlet. You're everything. Yours, she finished. "Always yours." They stayed tangled together as the sun set on December 1st. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, they'd face Morgana and the curse and a century of rage. But tonight, they had each other. And somehow, that made Scarlet believe they might actually survive this. Midnight struck. December 2nd had arrived. In the forest, in a prison of magic and time, the seal began to crack. And Morgana, the real Morgana, trapped for 100 years, opened her eyes and screamed. The ground shook at 3 a.m. Scarlet bolted upright in Ryan's arms as the entire estate rattled. Windows cracked. Chandeliers swayed. In the distance, she heard the sound of stones splitting, like the earth itself was tearing apart. "It's happening," Ryan said, already moving, pulling on clothes. "The seal is breaking." They'd prepared for this. Harrison had the ritual components ready. Marcus had evacuated all non-essential pack members to shelters 30 miles away. Camille had drawn protective wards around the estate with Celeste's guidance. Yes, that Celeste, the ancient witch who'd sealed Morgana a century ago, still alive and determined to finish what she'd started. But preparation felt meaningless now that the moment had arrived. Scarlet dressed quickly, her hands trembling. The mate mark on her throat pulsed with warmth, Ryan's presence, his strength, flowing through the bond they'd completed just hours ago. "Scarlet." Ryan caught her hand. "If this goes wrong, if you can't absorb the curse, I need you to run. Let me face her alone. We've been over this." "That's not happening. Please. Just promise me you'll survive. That's all I care about." Scarlet pulled him down for a fierce kiss. "We both survive. Together. That's the only acceptable outcome." Another tremor shook the estate. This one strong enough to knock pictures from walls. "They're coming," Marcus reported, bursting into the room. "Celeste says the seal just shattered completely. 2 entities emerging, one heading straight for us, the other, she can't get a read on it." "The curse and Morgana," Scarlet said. "Separated, just like we hoped. Or both coming to destroy us," Ryan countered. "Either way, we make our stand." Now, they assembled in the grand ballroom, the same room where, a century ago, Joseph had hosted his final party. Harrison had painted intricate symbols across the floor in a mixture of salt, silver dust, and blessed water. Celeste stood at the center, her ancient eyes glowing with power, her hands weaving spells that made the air shimmer. "The cursed entity will arrive first," Celeste said without preamble. "It's drawn to Ryan like a moth to flame. Scarlet, when it manifests, you must act immediately. Channel your healing gift through the mate bond, use Ryan as an anchor, and pull the curse into yourself." "And if I can't contain it?" Celeste's expression was grave. "Then Ryan kills you before you transform into the next monster. Better a quick death than a century of imprisonment and madness." Ryan's jaw clenched, but he nodded. They'd already had this conversation. Already made their peace with the worst-case scenario. "What about the real Morgana?" Marcus asked. If she's also free. She's our wild card, Harrison said. Angelina's journal suggests that Morgana, the original, uncorrupted soul, wanted to be destroyed along with the curse. She never wanted to come back. So either she'll help us, or she'll be too grief-stricken to intervene. Comforting, Camille muttered. The ballroom doors exploded inward. Smoke poured through the opening, thick, black, reeking of decay and dark magic. It coalesced into a form that made Scarlet's blood run cold. A wolf. Massive, twisted, with matted fur and too many eyes. Its jaws dripped with black ichor. And when it spoke, the voice was layered with thousands of tortured souls. Joseph. Mine. Forever mine. That's not my name anymore, Ryan said, stepping forward. His body rippled, preparing to shift. And I was never yours. The curse wolf lunged. Ryan met it mid-leap, his own transformation completing in a heartbeat. Black Wolf collided with corrupted monster, and the impact cratered the floor. They tumbled, snapping and clawing, a whirlwind of violence. Now! Celeste shouted. Scarlet, now! Scarlet closed her eyes and reached deep inside herself, past her fear, past her humanity, to the well of power that Morgana and Angelina had left in her bloodline. Her healing gift flared to life. But she didn't direct it outward. Instead, she turned it inward, then stretched it through the mate bond toward Ryan. She felt his pain as the curse wolf's claws raked his side. Felt his determination. His love. And she used that love as a tether. Come to me, she called to the curse. Leave him alone. I'm right here. Another vessel. Stronger. Better. The curse wolf's head snapped toward her. All 6 eyes focused on Scarlet with sudden, terrible interest. Fragment. Broken piece. You dare challenge me? I dare, Scarlet said aloud. Then she pulled. It felt like trying to swallow the sun. The curse slammed into her with the force of a tsunami, rage and madness and hunger so vast it could devour worlds. Scarlet screamed as it invaded her body, her mind, her soul. Images flashed. Morgana's descent into darkness. The witch who'd cursed her out of petty jealousy. Joseph's horror as he watched his lover transform into a monster. Angelina's tears as she made the ultimate sacrifice. 100 years of isolation. Of rage building and building with nowhere to go. The curse wanted to consume. To destroy. To make Ryan suffer as it had suffered. But Scarlet had something the curse didn't expect. Love. Ryan, she gasped, falling to her knees as darkness spread through her veins like ink. The bond, use it. Ryan shifted back to human form and crossed to her in 3 strides. He pulled Scarlet against his chest, his arms banding around her like steel. I've got you, he breathed into her hair. I'm right here. Fight it, beautiful girl. You're stronger than this thing. The mate bond flared brilliant gold. And Scarlet realized what Angelina had been trying to tell her. The curse fed on isolation, on loneliness, on love that had been twisted into obsession. But the mate bond was pure. It was love freely given, freely received. Love that empowered rather than controlled. Love that could heal even the darkest corruption. Scarlet stopped trying to contain the curse and instead wrapped it in golden light. She poured every ounce of love she felt for Ryan into her healing gift, not to destroy the curse, but to purify it. To remind it what it had been before it was corrupted. The curse shrieked inside her mind. No. What are you doing? Stop. I'm setting you free, Scarlet whispered. And she let her healing gift burn. It was agony. Like being immolated from the inside out. Scarlet felt her body temperature spike, felt her skin crack and bleed. The curse fought back, trying to corrupt her healing magic, turn it against her. But Ryan was there, anchoring her, flooding the mate bond with his strength, his faith, his unwavering belief that she would survive this. That's it, he murmured, though his voice shook with fear. You're doing it. I can feel the curse weakening. Celeste's chanting intensified. Harrison added his voice, speaking words in a language older than civilization. The ritual circle blazed with light, amplifying Scarlet's power. And slowly, so slowly, the curse began to unravel. Scarlet saw its true nature now. It had been a spell of binding, originally meant to force two souls together forever. A witch's desperate attempt to make someone love her. But it had gone wrong, twisted, become something monstrous. It didn't want to hurt. It was hurting itself with every moment of existence. It wanted to end. Then end, Scarlet said gently. I release you. Rest. The curse let out one final, anguished wail. Then it shattered into 1,000 pieces of golden light and dissolved. Scarlet collapsed in Ryan's arms, gasping, her body smoking but intact. Alive. It's gone, Harrison breathed, staring at the ritual circle. The curse is actually gone. Destroyed completely. Scarlet. Ryan's hands frantically checked her over, searching for injuries. Talk to me. Are you alive? She managed. Tired, but alive. Ryan let out a shaky laugh and crushed her against his chest. You did it. My God, you actually did it. But Camille's voice cut through the celebration. Guys? We still have a problem. Another figure stood in the doorway. This one was fully solid, fully real. A woman in a tattered dress from a century ago, her dark hair wild, her eyes, Scarlet's eyes, filled with a grief so profound it was suffocating. Morgana. The real Morgana. It's gone, she whispered, touching her chest as if searching for something. The darkness. The curse. I can't feel it anymore. We destroyed it, Scarlet said, trying to stand, but her legs wouldn't cooperate. You're free. Morgana's gaze found Ryan. Joseph. No, Ryan said gently. I'm Ryan. I carry Joseph's soul, but I'm not him. I know. Morgana's smile was unbearably sad. I can tell. You love her. She nodded toward Scarlet. The way Joseph loved Angelina at the end. Completely. Without the obsession that poisoned my love. I'm sorry, Ryan said. For what Joseph did. For choosing. Don't. Morgana held up a hand. He made the right choice. I see that now. A century of imprisonment gives you time to think. To remember who you were before the curse twisted everything. She looked at Scarlet. You have Angelina's soul fragment. Her kindness. Her strength. And part of your power, Scarlet added. Use it well. Morgana glanced around the ballroom, at the modern clothes, the electric lights, the pack members in tactical gear. The world has changed so much. I don't belong here anymore. What will you do? Camille asked softly. What I should have done a century ago. Morgana closed her eyes. Let go. Wait, Scarlet said. You don't have to die. You're free now. You could live in a world where everyone I loved is gone? Where I'm a ghost haunting the ruins of my mistakes. Morgana shook her head. No, child. I'm tired. I'm ready to rest. Celeste stepped forward. I can perform the rite. Send you peacefully to whatever comes next. Thank you, old friend. Morgana managed a genuine smile. You tried to save me once. Finish the job. The ritual was simple and beautiful. Celeste spoke words of release, of peace, of a journey's end. Morgana's form began to glow, becoming translucent. Before she faded completely, she looked at Scarlet one last time. Thank you for showing me what love should be, Morgana said. Treasure him. Don't make my mistakes. I won't, Scarlet promised. Morgana smiled. Then she was gone, dissolving into golden motes of light that drifted up through the ceiling and into the pre-dawn sky. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Ryan let out a breath that seemed to come from his soul. It's over. It's actually over. December 2nd came and went, Marcus said, checking his watch. It's 4:17 a.m. We survived. Camille let out a whoop and grabbed Harrison, spinning the surprised doctor around. We did it. We actually did it. Celebration erupted. Pack members who'd been watching from the hallway poured in, laughing and crying and embracing. But Scarlet only had eyes for Ryan. He helped her to her feet, his hands gentle despite their trembling. "How do you feel?" "Like I went 10 rounds with a hurricane," Scarlet admitted. "But I'm okay. We're okay. You're incredible. You know that?" Ryan cupped her face. "You saved me. Saved everyone. You're—" Scarlet kissed him, cutting off the praise. "We saved each other. That's how this works." "I love you," Ryan said against her lips. "Across every lifetime, every incarnation, I love you." "I love you too." The mate bond pulsed with warmth and joy and a future full of possibilities. 3 months later, Scarlet woke to winter sunlight streaming through the bedroom windows and Ryan's arm draped possessively across her waist. She smiled, snuggling deeper into the warmth of their bed, in their suite, in the Black Vine estate that had become home in ways she'd never imagined possible. 3 months since December 2nd. 3 months of healing and rebuilding and learning what it meant to be truly happy. The pack had recovered from the battle. The 12 who died were honored with a memorial garden that Scarlet tended personally, using her healing gift to make it bloom even in winter. The injured had mended. The walls were rebuilt. And Scarlet had been officially recognized as Luna in a ceremony that had made her cry happy tears for 3 straight hours. "You're thinking too loud," Ryan mumbled, his voice rough with sleep. "It's barely dawn." "Sorry," Scarlet whispered, running her fingers through his dark hair. "Didn't mean to wake you." "Liar. You always wake me when you're restless." He cracked one silver eye open. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Everything's perfect." "That's what scares me." Ryan pulled her on top of him, settling her comfortably on his chest. "Talk to me." "I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop," Scarlet admitted. "For some new disaster. For someone to tell me this was all a dream, and I'm going to wake up back in that basement in Red Creek." "Never," Ryan said fiercely. "You're mine. You're Luna of Blackvine. You're home." "I know. Logically, I know. But sometimes—" A knock interrupted them. "Go away," Ryan called. "It's important." Camille's voice carried through the door. "Luna, you have visitors." Scarlet exchanged a confused look with Ryan. "Visitors?" "At 6 a.m. "It's actually 8:30, you lazy wolves," Camille shot back. "And these visitors came a long way." "Something about Scarlet's heritage." Scarlet's heart stuttered. Her heritage, they'd been researching her origins for months with little success. Every lead had dead-ended. She scrambled out of bed, throwing on clothes. Ryan followed suit, his protective instincts clearly on high alert. In the main hall, 2 people waited. An elderly man with kind eyes and silver hair. And beside him, a woman in her 40s who looked eerily like Scarlet, same auburn hair, same delicate features. "Luna Scarlet," the man said, bowing respectfully. "My name is Elder Thomas Rivera of the Silver Moon Pack. And this is Sophia Stone. We believe she's your aunt." Scarlet's world tilted. "What?" Sophia stepped forward, her eyes shining with tears. 15 years ago, my sister, your mother, died protecting you from rogue attacks. Before she died, she made me promise to hide you somewhere safe. Somewhere our enemies would never think to look." "Red Creek," Scarlet breathed. "You left me at Red Creek. I thought Alpha Alfred would at least give you shelter." "I had no idea Sophia's voice broke. "I had no idea he'd treat you like a slave. I came back 2 years later to check on you, but Alfred told me you'd died of illness. I believed him. I mourned you. And then last month, I heard rumors of an alpha in the north who'd claimed a wolfless healer as his mate. A girl with auburn hair and abilities that shouldn't exist in someone without a wolf." "You came to see if it was true," Scarlet whispered. "I came to see if my niece was alive." Sophia crossed the distance between them and took Scarlet's hands. "And you are. You're alive and strong and magnificent." Scarlet's throat tightened. "What was my mother's name?" "Isabel Stone. She was the healer of Silver Moon Pack, the most powerful one in 3 generations. You have her gift. Her strength." Sophia smiled through tears. "She would be so proud of you." Why did rogues attack her? Elder Thomas answered, Your mother discovered evidence of corruption within the Council of Alphas. Someone was trafficking wolfless omegas, selling them as slaves. Isabel was going to expose them. So they sent rogues to silence her. Rage flooded through Scarlet. Alfred. He was part of it, wasn't he? We believe so. But we never had proof. Thomas's expression hardened. Until now. With your testimony about your treatment, combined with evidence we've been gathering, we can bring him to justice. Ryan's hand found Scarlet's shoulder, grounding her. What kind of justice? Trial before the council. If found guilty, exile at minimum. Death at maximum. Thomas met Scarlet's eyes. But we need you to testify. Tell your story. Help us end this corruption. Scarlet looked at Ryan. He squeezed her shoulder gently. Whatever you decide, I support you, he said quietly. Scarlet took a deep breath. I'll testify. Alfred needs to answer for what he did. Not just to me, to every wolfless omega he's ever abused. Sophia's smile was fierce and proud. That's my sister's daughter. The trial took place 2 weeks later in the council chambers, a massive amphitheater carved from ancient stone. Scarlet sat in the witness seat, facing 9 alphas from across the territories. Ryan stood behind her, a silent pillar of support. The mate bond hummed between them, keeping her anxiety at bay. Alfred sat in the defendant's cage, looking smaller and older than she remembered. His pack had abandoned him when the charges were filed. He was alone. Good. Scarlet testified for 2 hours. Told them everything, the beatings, the starvation, the years of being treated as less than nothing. Other Omegas came forward with similar stories. Evidence piled up. The verdict was unanimous. Guilty. Alpha Alfred of Red Creek, the head alpha, intoned, You are hereby stripped of your title and exiled from pack lands. You will live as a rogue until your death. May you know the loneliness you inflicted on others. Alfred's eyes found Scarlet's across the chamber. For a moment, she saw rage. Then defeat. Then nothing. Guards dragged him away. It's over, Ryan murmured, helping Scarlet to her feet. He can never hurt you again. I know. And she did. The fear that had lived in her chest for 15 years finally released its grip. She was free. 2 months later, spring. Higher. Push me higher, Luna. Scarlet laughed, giving the swing another push. The little girl, Emma, age 6, daughter of 2 pack warriors, squealed with delight as she soared through the air. The pack's children had adopted Scarlet immediately, drawn to her gentle nature and healing gifts. She'd patched up scraped knees, dried tears over broken toys, and told stories about brave wolves who overcame impossible odds. She'd found her calling, not just as Luna, but as teacher and healer and guardian for the next generation. Careful, Ryan called from where he was helping Marcus repair the playground equipment. Don't push her into orbit. I want to touch the clouds, Emma declared. Maybe next time, Scarlet said, catching the swing to slow it down. Right now, I think your mom is calling you for lunch. Emma ran off, and Scarlet took a moment to simply breathe. The pack lands were beautiful in spring. Flowers bloomed everywhere, many of them from seeds Scarlet had planted, nurtured with her healing magic until they grew into a riot of color. Life. Growth. Beauty. Everything she'd been denied for so long. You look happy, Camille observed, appearing with 2 cups of lemonade. Like, genuinely, I might start glowing happy. I am happy, Scarlet admitted. Is that allowed? After everything you've been through? You've earned happy. Camille handed her a cup. So, when are you going to tell Ryan? Scarlet nearly dropped the lemonade. Tell him what? Please. I'm a wolf. I can smell the hormonal changes. Camille grinned. You're pregnant. Like, 3 weeks along. Scarlet's hand flew to her stomach. I wasn't sure. I mean, I suspected, but does this mean I get to be Auntie Camille? Because I'm already planning the nursery. Lots of stuffed wolves. Maybe a mural of the forest. Oh, And we should have Harrison check that the baby inherited your healing gift, because that would be. Camille. Breathe. The younger woman laughed. Sorry. I'm just excited. Ryan's going to lose his mind. In the best way. Scarlett looked across the playground to where Ryan was laughing at something Marcus said, his face relaxed and open in a way she'd never seen before December 2nd. He'd healed too. The blackouts were gone. The possession was over. He was just Ryan, her mate, her love, the father of her child. I need to tell him, Scarlett said. Tonight. Somewhere special. Camille's eyes gleamed. I have an idea. That evening, Scarlett led Ryan deep into the forest under the pretense of showing him something Harrison had discovered. This better not be another ancient artifact, Ryan grumbled good-naturedly. I've had enough magical drama to last 3 lifetimes. It's not an artifact, Scarlett promised. She brought him to a clearing she'd found weeks ago, a perfect circle of wildflowers surrounding a small pond that reflected the stars. Moonlight painted everything silver. It's beautiful, Ryan breathed. Then he looked at her. But you didn't bring me here just to stargaze. No. Scarlett took his hands. Ryan, these past months with you have been the happiest of my life. You gave me a home, a family, a purpose. You gave me everything. Scarlett, I'm pregnant. Ryan froze. What? About 3 weeks along. Harrison confirmed it this afternoon. We're having a baby. Scarlett searched his face anxiously. I know we haven't talked about children yet, and if you're not ready. Ryan kissed her. Deeply, thoroughly, pouring every ounce of joy and love and wonder into it. When they broke apart, his eyes were wet. A baby. We're having a baby. Are you happy? Happy? Scarlett, he let out a laugh that was almost a sob. I didn't think I could be happier than I already was. But this is everything. You're everything. He dropped to his knees and pressed a gentle kiss to her still flat stomach. Hello, little one. I'm your dad. And I promise you'll never know a day without love. Without safety. Without family. Scarlett's tears spilled over. We're really doing this. Having a family. We really are. Ryan stood, pulling her into his arms. Thank you. For surviving. For fighting. For giving me this future I never thought I'd have. Thank you for finding me, Scarlett whispered. For saving me. We saved each other, Ryan corrected, echoing her words from months ago. They stood in the clearing, wrapped in each other's arms, as the mate bond glowed golden around them. Above, the stars wheeled through their eternal dance. The moon blessed them with silver light. And in that moment, everything was perfect. 1 year later, the nursery was chaos. She's got your eyes, Ryan observed, bouncing their daughter gently. And your stubbornness, Scarlett countered, trying to coax 6-month-old Luna. Yes, they'd named her Luna, after the title that had changed everything, to take her bottle. Baby Luna decided bottles were boring and shifted for the first time instead. One moment, a chubby human infant. The next, a tiny wolf pup with silver eyes and dark fur. She shifted. Ryan nearly dropped her in shock. At 6 months. That's impossible. Apparently not. Scarlett grinned, scooping up the pup who was now chewing enthusiastically on her own tail. Looks like she inherited more than just healing abilities. Camille burst through the door. Did I hear, oh my god, she's a puppy. The cutest puppy. Aunt Camille, we've discussed boundaries, Ryan said wearily. Boundaries are for people who didn't just witness the most adorable thing in history. Camille plopped down on the floor, letting puppy Luna clamber into her lap. Hi, sweetie. Yes, you're a fierce wolf. So fierce. Scarlett caught Ryan's eye, and they shared a smile. This was their life now. Chaotic, loud, full of love and laughter and pack family, who treated their daughter like the most precious thing in the world. It was everything Scarlett had dreamed of during those dark years in Red Creek's basement. And it was real. I love you, she told Ryan. He crossed to her, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. I love you too. Both of you. He paused. Well, 3 of you if we're counting. Scarlet spun in his arms. How did you know? Ryan's grin was smug. I can smell it. You're pregnant again. About 2 weeks along this time. We're going to have our hands full. Good thing we have a whole pack to help. Ryan kissed her temple. Think you can handle it? Being Luna, mother, healer extraordinaire. With you beside me? Scarlet turned to kiss him properly. I can handle anything. Through the window, she could see Blackvine territory spreading out in all directions. The pack that had become family. The land she'd help heal and nurture. Home. After a lifetime of searching, of suffering, of barely surviving, she'd found home. Not in a place, but in the people. In the mate bond that tied her to Ryan across lifetimes. In the daughter currently peeing on Camille's favorite shirt, much to the younger woman's dismay. In the child growing in her womb. In love that had conquered curses and darkness and 100 years of separation. Scarlet had been bound across 1,000 years to meet the Alpha fated to protect her. And he'd done exactly that. They'd protected each other. And they'd live happily ever after. 5 years later. Tell us the story again, Mama. Luna begged, her silver eyes wide. Scarlet settled into the rocking chair, 4-year-old twins, a boy and girl, climbing into her lap while Luna sat at her feet. Ryan leaned against the doorway, watching his family with undisguised adoration. Which story? Scarlet asked. The one about the wolfless girl and the scary Alpha. I wasn't that scary, Ryan protested. Papa, you're terrifying, Luna said matter-of-factly. Everyone says so. Your papa is a teddy bear, Scarlet corrected, winking at her mate. A teddy bear who can bench press a car, Ryan muttered. Scarlet began the story, their story, though she edited out the darker parts for young ears. She told them about a girl who'd lost everything but never lost hope. About an Alpha who seemed fierce, but had the kindest heart. About curses broken by love and futures built from ashes. And they lived happily ever after, the twins asked in unison when she finished. They did, Scarlet confirmed. They really did. Later, after the children were asleep, Scarlet and Ryan stood on the balcony overlooking their territory. The mate mark on her throat, silvered with age, glowed softly in the moonlight. Do you ever regret it? Ryan asked quietly. Choosing this life? Choosing me? Scarlet looked at him like he'd grown a second head. Are you insane? Ryan, you gave me everything I never knew I needed. Family. Purpose. Love. She took his hand. I'd choose you in every lifetime. Every incarnation. Forever. Good. He pulled her close. Because you're stuck with me. Promise? Promise. They kissed under the stars, the mate bond singing between them, as strong as the day they'd completed it, strengthened by years of love and trust and building a life together. Somewhere in the forest, Scarlet thought she heard laughter. Gentle, approving. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was Angelina and Morgana, finally at peace, watching over the happiness they'd helped create. Either way, Scarlet smiled. She was home. She was loved. She was exactly where she was meant to be. Hey there, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining us on Scarlet and Ryan's incredible journey. Wasn't that amazing? If you love this story of fated mates, ancient curses, and love that transcends 1,000 years, please hit that like button and subscribe to Cindy's Wolfheart stories for more epic shifter romances. Drop a comment telling us your favorite moment. Was it when Ryan first claimed Scarlet? When she absorbed the curse? Or maybe the sweet ending with their beautiful family? We love hearing from you. And don't forget to check out our other stories in the playlist. Until next time, may you find your own fated mate and live your own happily ever after. Sending love from our pack to yours.